Alright, welcome back. Here is the Zelda game. We're going to keep having a lot of fun. First thing we need to do, we need to help this guy out. He is on skates. We got to make him look like he's moving. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to animate this a little bit. Why did that just... It was glowing orange. I don't know why. Okay, so I pre-wrote the code. I always do. I test it out, make sure it works. So there's not too many errors, but there's always errors because I'm coding live. But instead of typing it out, I have this whole section, boom, that I didn't want to type out in front of you because it took a long time. So we made an array called walk, and look at all these images. These images are right here. So in the image folder, look, if I click on each front one, it's like he's walking. Oh, that one's a lot smaller. That might look funny. So see him walking left, see him walking right. Okay. We're going to add those in. So here are all the images in one big array. I made variables for the starting point of each of the image sets. So here we have image back. It has been position 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then at position 4, we start the front. So that's what these variables mean. And then I made this comment tag because I can't remember where they start or what they're doing. So I'm going to put this comment tag right here. Comments, JavaScript will just skip. It's for our information only. That will tell me the image and their positions within that array. So for example, we have this right key, right? And Sean's going to be pushed right. Well, when he gets pushed right, we need to set his image. So we're going to go set image. And the image we want him to set, so we have our array named walk. And then since we're going right, we're going to set the right variable. The right variable is represented by a number, and the numbers represent the positions of those images within the array. So next, we need to go right plus plus. Now, we need to make a little if statement, because when right actually equals 16, so if right is equal to, you need two equal signs to compare values. So if the value of right is equal to 16, then we need to start it back over at 12. Okay, now the reason we do 16 is because he will walk on position 15, right 15, and then we increase it so it goes to 16, and if it ever gets to 16, we change it back to 12. All right, let's see if it worked. I'm pushing right, look at him go. Walks right into that bush, but he just keeps moving his leg. He'll push it eventually. Nah, you won't. Okay, so let's go quick. We want to get to the fun stuff. There we go, paste. Now instead of up, we got to do back. And it was weird at first. So when we push the up key, he's walking with our back towards us, and the image's names are back. So maybe I should have called it something different. I don't know. But let's just change all these to back. Now back starts with 0 and ends on 3. So when it gets to 4, change it back to 3. Okay, save that. Oh, change it back to 0. Save that, refresh. I move right, he's walking happy. I move up, there he goes. The rest of the stuff, he still looks like he's wearing roller skates. Alright, so we're going to go through this real fast. And this is left, that's easy enough. And left is 8 to 11, so we're going to make you 12 and you 8. Okay, now down is front, because now we see the front image. Front, and front is from 4 to 7. Okay, so if I come here and do 8 and 4, save, refresh, booyah. Now he's running around like a champ. So the idea is we're going to store all these images in an array, and then we're going to select which images get shown when we hold down these buttons. So he's no longer on skates. Okay, next, we're going to make this level a little bit like Zelda, where you got to solve a problem. And we're going to start an inventory. We're going to start gathering things. Okay, so when you first come on this level, you have no idea you can walk through these bushes. Why would you even try? We are going to make it maybe a little bit more obvious, and then also do something cool when that happens. So right here where we have this 2, you can see here is the bend that we can walk through. I'm going to change it to a 3. And then I made this red tree top that looks a lot different. Maybe I put too much. If you guys get good ideas to do with this game, feel free to make them. That's why I'm doing this. I want you guys to get your own ideas and start coding a little bit. Okay, so we have this treetop red, like that, and I'm going to rename treetop to button. This is going to be a little button for us. Okay, so here we have a button, and when we hit number 3, let's see how that changes the tile. So now we don't tell him how to get to that button. but it's a little bit obvious that something's going on there. What's with that red guy? So here we go. So let's go down. Now notice his button type is secret. That's not what I want. His button type is going to be button. So let's go down into these on hits and make when Sean hits that button, we want a sword to appear. And I put that image in here so I don't have to type everything. Oh, this is so nice. Okay, so when Sean hits the button, we don't want him hitting the button 400 times. So immediately we change the type. So this on hit will only work once because afterwards that button's type is now none. But it's going to make a sword appear. It's going to have a type. And then you see this weird thing in here. Basically, I wanted the sword to appear somewhere in this area. And so I counted the rows. And I know each row is 40 wide. So there must have been 14 columns times 40. I didn't do that math. The computer can do it for me. And then there was 10 rows down times that by 40, which is 400, but the computer can figure it out. I don't have to waste my time doing that. Okay, so now when we step on this button, we're expecting a sword to appear. Let's see what happens. Oh man, filming this makes this go so slow. There we go. Sword just appeared. Can't get it yet. Okay, so let's do that next. We're gonna let you get the sword, add it to your inventory. Okay, so now we're gonna start building a little inventory. You're gonna see some cool stuff. So here we have this on hit, right? So when we have this on hit, so now when Sean, okay, so look, when you hit the button, it creates the sword, and the sword has a type. When Sean hits the sword, we're going to give that sword a new type called attack. We're going to add it to inventory. We need to make an inventory array. I'm going to put it right here so things just happen in order. Var, and it's just empty. You start out with nothing. But then, when you get the sword, we're going to add the sword to it, and then it says show, and it's passing this inventory. What we're going to do is we're going to create a little inventory. The way I decided to do it was have an inventory in the bottom left. Now, when we get multiple items, I'll show you how to use the scroll wheel to change the item that it shows and the one that you can use. But this show inventory is calling a function named inventory, and it's going to call that function show and pass in our inventory. So let me show you what that means because I keep saying the same word inventory over and over again. I'm going to put it right here. We're going to label this portion objects. Okay, so we have this object and I made this white circle PNG and we are going to move it to that location and it will always stay in that location, but it's going to be invisible at first because you have to create it in the game right away, but I don't want you to see this weird white circle in the bottom left. So we're going to make it invisible. So if I refresh, you can't see the inventory yet. Okay, so after that, we need this function show, right? So you have to find, we have our function start. We don't want function show to load until Sean gets the sword, which means we need to put it below the start function. So this function will just sit and wait and not do anything until it is called, and that's when it gets its chance to run its code and show itself. So let's go through this. When we call show, notice we're passing an inventory. What we're doing is we're telling that function, hey, I have an object named inventory. Let me hand it to you so you can use it. So we receive the object and we rename it white. Why do we name it white? Because that's what I wrote in. Right here you could write anything you want. I call it white because it's a white circle. So we're going to display that white circle for 1.5 seconds. Then inventory length -1. So we're going to take the last object added and move it to the circle, and this will make sure it's centered. This is some weird code to make sure it's centered. You can go through it with your head and look at it and you'll come to that conclusion. And then I just moved it off the bottom of the circle a little bit. Now we're going to make that fixed so it will sit in the inventory, and this part doesn't matter yet. That'll be for next time. Okay, so let me save and refresh. Let me go through all of this. Oh, it goes so slow when I'm filming. This works great when I'm just playing by myself. Okay, so up he comes. He hits the button. Comes down. Oh, look at that. Sword. Oh, sword's in the inventory. And then it will stay there. You can't do anything with it, but it will stay in that spot so that you know that that is the item that you were using. Okay, that is the demo today. So you could make a cool little puzzle game by when you hit a button, something happens. You can only hit it once. So what we're going to do next time is with that sword, you got to kill a monster, you're going to drop a key, or it'll do something. I'll come up with something better than drop a key. Everyone drops a key. I'll come up with something. When you kill the monster, something will happen, and then it'll be very obvious how you get past this level and move on to the next area. Okay guys, hope that made sense with animation. Kind of making some more puzzle games within Zelda. Here we have an inventory. We're just going to expand on this inventory, and then I'll show you how to use the mouse wheel to scroll through and select the item you want. All right, thanks guys. Enjoy.